this week. But we have an incredible lineup of two guests this evening.
Incredible!
With us tonight, Andrew Wright with Ragtag Entertainment. I had to push the button on the screen and almost completely forgot what I was talking about. And then I will say, as always, but she ditched out on me last weekend.
Well, just that one time and then that one time before. That's it, though.
Just the two times.
Yeah.
Kerriann Parks, and then our intern Cassie is with us, and she's actually on headset tonight.
I know.
Isn't that fantastic?
This is so exciting.
So, Eric, we don't need you. But I do have a good friend of mine, a wonderful guest, returning. You're like our most popular guest so far. Returning for his second time. And
there's no historical evidence of me ever being here.
No, actually, I think there's the YouTube. Oh, by the way, I need to actually intern.
Yes.
Jump up.
Snap.
And somehow push the start button. That's
I'm on it.
the record button on there. There's a little power button on the camera. For those of you
Good thing she's
that are
9 feet tall.
Yeah, those of you that are tuning in this week. I'm going to need both. There you go, and just push the record button right over where it says record.
I think I'm blind.
It's the little red thing. There you go. Oh, this one? No, second one. Second one right next to that. The one just to the left of where you just put.
This is so exciting.
Does it say it's recording?
This is the best
There you go.
radio
Now,
ever.
yeah.
There we go.
I think that's recording now. Well, I'll have to check on that. Otherwise, we're gonna only have audio for the first portion of all this.
And no evidence of Andrew being here.
Well, it'll be audio evidence. For those that tuned in last week and caught the Dodgers game, I have no idea whether they won or lost. We were early last week, and because of that, I kind of lost one of my guests, and so we made sure that he was here this week. So, Andrew, my apologies for scheduling and everything else.
I was in sunny California.
Well, my apologies go out to Eiler Evan then, who he and I got to chat for a little bit as we tried to figure things out. But you have a fantastic little benefit coming up tomorrow night and Tuesday.
We do. We have a real exciting Monday and Tuesday at the main showroom in the Hilton, which is a beautiful room. If you or excuse me, the LVH. It's like
formerly known as the Hilton.
Yeah, I
So we
have
can't
the
call it the Hilton
no,
anymore?
you cannot
the
call it
January grace period where you always write the year before
That's
on
right.
checks. That's how I am with calling this venue by the right name. The LVH in their main showroom, which is gorgeous. It's so much fun to be there. We're doing a concert of Stephen Sondheim's company. It's a 22-piece orchestra up on the stage, and then the set's built around them, and the scenery just sort of comes in and out. If you saw any of the concerts that they do on PBS with chess and things, it's a very similar concert staging where it's a big concert mesh up with all the scene work still in there, but it's still presented as a concert.
That's fantastic. And looking at the list of performers that you have in there, a bunch of wonderful performers here in town. Just to mention a few: Eiler Evan, Richard Compst, Lou Demise. Is it Demise or Demise? Demise. Sorry, Lou. Kelly Wright, Doug Baker, Margaret Menzies, Jay Joseph, Natalie Carson, George DeMott, Robin Vincent, Ben Lowy, Jennifer Breed, Kristen Mackey, and Brenna Folger. Know a handful of those people, and those that I do know are good singers.
Yeah.
This is a great representation of some of Sondheim's best music. And Eiler playing the title character of Bobby. For that. So, give us a little bit of information. I have it all written down here, but it's much better if we talk to you about it.
And I can't see it from here, so
I only printed one. I only printed one copy. That's the power of things.
It's like an hour-long mystery, and we get to hear about it as we go. This is gonna happen.
That's right. You're in the show, Gary, and you didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. No, I know the curtain call.
Oh, well, that's good because
The end.
you're going to have to actually play trumpet in the performance.
Oh, I got this.
Which and that was that's the only production I've ever seen of Company is the
Broadway revival where they did their own
where they played their own instruments, which was a lot of fun. And I believe the director of that did the same thing with Sweeney Todd, which is a lot of fun.
Wait, they had the characters play instruments?
Yeah. If you have Netflix, there's a version of Company that's on there where the actors play their own instruments.
Well,
It's fantastic.
Sweeney Todd, how do they do that?
If I'm not mistaken, it takes place in an insane asylum, and so they.
Yeah, it starts out.
It's kind of like Jersey Girl, where
telling Tobias' story on Sweeney Todd. It's him after they took him away, and he's in the asylum. So he's sort of retelling this story, and it's not. To be fair, it's an incredible job learning all these instruments and playing and singing, but it's not the actual written orchestration. So they're not expecting a Broadway singer to all of a sudden play cello at a world-class level.
But it's still fun.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept and very hard. And we're way too lazy.
Patty LaPone plays an awesome triangle. So this is benefiting Golden
Rainbow,
which this is not the first benefit that you've done for them.
No, we have generally we do 3 a year for Golden Rainbow throughout the year, and this is they just did Ribbon of Life is their big event for the year. They do once a year, and then the rest of the year we do 3 ones to sort of keep money coming in with them. They're a great organization that helps families that are affected by people with HIV and AIDS, and all the money that comes in from these events is going directly into helping the families. It's not going into this vacuum that is a charity at times, where you're giving this money to these charities, and the little Ethiopian children see 10 cents worth of the money when you give $100 or something like that. This is, they only have 2 paid employees for this massive entity here in Las Vegas that provides housing, that provides medical help, it provides financial help when people are out of work because of, like, sometimes you'll get sick and be in the hospital, and until they're strong enough to get back on their feet, they're out of work, and bills don't wait. So Golden Rainbow is able to help them with the bills. They help with medicine. They really everything. They take care of the kids with our summer shows. This is our summer show. That goes to the children specifically each year. So last year we were able to buy a whole bunch of kids backpacks and back-to-school supplies and things that the families don't necessarily have the money to provide, or the time even to get out with things going on. So Golden Rainbow goes and takes care of all of this supply shopping, and with it being at the Hilton, which is a humongous 1,600-seat theater, and doing something as big as Company with pretty big draw and such a great cast, we're hoping to be able to provide a lot more this year for the kids, with not only supplies but clothing and things like that. So if they're going into activities in school or music and theater and things like that, being able to help give them everything they're going to need for the school year.
That's fantastic.
I love this program.
Yeah, isn't it fantastic?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't mind my asking, or is this public knowledge, how much have you raised for Golden Rainbow in the past couple of years?
We've only been as a company, Ragtag is only 3 years old. So this is last year was our first year with Golden Rainbow. And we've raised over $23,000.
Fantastic.
And we have just a sort of a 3-show commitment with them each year.
Yeah. I didn't realize you hadn't done anything in the very first inaugural.
Yeah, in our first year we were in schools doing, keeping the arts in the schools and doing some festivals where people would ask us to come and perform, and it sort of grew from there into the charity work where we could combine the things we were doing. And we're still in schools.
How you've combined all of that. Whenever it seems that there's a ragtag production going on, someone's benefiting.
There's always a ragtag production.
Yeah, it's nonstop. It is nonstop.
I jest, but there's... I know you've caught some flack for that, having 500 shows up at one time, but the shows are good shows.
It's the thing is, we're doing this because the people doing it love what they're doing.
Exactly.
The audiences enjoy it, and there's always people who need help, and that's the point. We're not going out to be the most dominant production company in the city. We're not trying to take over the world. We're not trying to do a show that's going to revolve and make everybody stand out. We just want to put on shows that the audiences enjoy and help people in the process. And that's why the only time we slow down is if it is because we're gearing up for something big. But there's always groups who need help, and there are always performers who want to perform and people who want to do things. So it's
Do these groups approach Ragtag, or do you guys kind of have your feelers out?
Little bit of both. There are groups there was a really nice article that came out last year in December that really focused on covering a lot of the articles actually focus and treat it more like it's a signature LVLT, and from a production company standpoint, and not that these are all charitable endeavors. We just happen to be doing it by doing theater instead of doing a bowling tournament. But,
and you've got a few other things coming up that we'll get to a little bit later on the show. If somebody does want to get a hold of you and get more information on Ragtag Entertainment, they can reach you by email at ragtagent@yahoo.com.
They can do that, or I've been scolded and told I must start plugging the newly formed website.
Oh, good.
By Tracy Blackwell.
I wasn't sure if it was completely up and running and all the links.
It's going for all the cities and everything,
Great.
because we also have New York and LA. It is www.ragtagentertainment.com.
All spelled out one word.
All one word.
That's a big, long address.
It is.
Couldn't get just like rte.com or something like that? Ragtag Entertainment.
Where were you on that one? Where were you during that brainstorming process?
Well, I wasn't working for the domain naming convention, wherever that's located. So www.ragtagentertainment. No funny spelling of entertainment.
No.
Okay, but all one word.com to get more information on the wonderful things that Andrew Wright and company are doing.
Yeah, so you can follow what we have coming up. You can contact us. We love it when groups do reach out, because you know that way they're not lazy and they're actually like taking the first step. But we also, like, when we hear about a great group, we'll jump on the ability to help them.
Do you kind of match it up with what your lineup already is?
Yeah, If we're doing like when we're doing a children's organization, we're not bringing Angels in America or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Angels in America. Are
for the
you-
Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, but are you still doing events for grade school children? Still going to schools? So you haven't you started those. Those are your roots, going into the schools, keeping arts in the forefront of children's minds, which I'm all for. Arts in school.
Yes.
I don't think there's enough money spent on it.
Yeah, we are, and when we go into the schools, we'll go and we'll work with the kids at the school, and then we'll do something for free in the evening where the kids and their families can come do something. And it can be in the multi-purpose room at the elementary school, or some of the, what's it called? K.O. Knutson, the Performing Arts Magnet School from middle school. Their theater is nicer than most of the theaters that the adults are performing in. So it's beautiful. So we're wherever the schools have to put it up, and it is difficult on the schools, because a lot of times the schools would like people to come in, the teachers, the principals are all for it. The school district has at times it can be difficult to get in there.
Sure.
I mean, our dream is like some wonderful, wealthy listener of this radio show or someone will say, I love that you're doing this, and we're going to help you make sure that all these arts are in these schools, and we're going to work with you on doing this. Because sometimes having that outside backer saying, hey, I'm a taxpayer and I want the arts in the schools. I understand that they can't be afforded, but we're going to help make sure that they're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goes a long way.
And I do know that does exist in this town. So hopefully the right people are listening right now.
RagtagEntertainment.com.
It's kind of brings back a little bit of my memory, what little I still have left. Well, I wonder if you have gone outside of Las Vegas, because when my daughter was, when I was living in Laughlin, they didn't have anything really for the school there. But there was a national group that came in on a Monday, auditioned kids, and then on Friday there was a performance, and then they moved out to another, I want to say it's Missoula Theater Company, something along those lines.
Okay.
Missoula.
There's something that I've heard of I know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
because I've heard that name and that rings a bell. But we're very open to it.
And Carrie just ran out the door. Kerriann, she's going to do that.
I'm on my way to Laughlin!
Well, no, they didn't. They're not based there. That was like 4 years ago. But
Then there's nothing for me to do.
I have
you can look them up. I don't know where. I don't have a super long website.com.
No, that's great though, because that's right. That's right, hand in hand with what I did
I know.
last week with Faith Lutheran
Yeah.
Middle Senior School, and Cassie as well. Woo.
Did I didn't see you there.
She was the winning yellow team.
Yes, my team
well,
won.
She's my nemesis now.
Congratulations. Yeah, you're wearing yellow in
I know,
honor of.
in honor. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's respect.
I'm not wearing any pink. I'm sorry.
And we did have a little discussion because Eric was kind enough to call in last week, so we talked about that for a half hour and made him blush.
Aww.
So, and he's not listening right now in New York, because I'm pretty sure this program is local only. It's about right, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Besides,
We're not national right now?
well, this is streaming from the website too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, how about that?
KSHP.com.
It's very possible that he's listening. Eric, feel free to call in whenever. You know the number. It's 221-SAVE. And obviously, if anyone's listening out there, feel free to give us a call in if you wanted to give Andrew a question or two. We're talking with Andrew Wright of Ragtag Entertainment. Right now, we're talking about one of your shows. We've got another one that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But Stephen Sondheim's company, as a benefit for Golden Rainbow, tomorrow and Tuesday night at 7 p.m. at the Las Vegas Hotel, formerly the Hilton. Tickets, $25. Is that about
$25?
$25? Okay.
Yep. And go, if you are a parent of a child who is into music, be it instrumental music or ensemble singing or theater, bring your kids out. This is one of the rare shows in Las Vegas where you have this full orchestra right up on stage. I left that rehearsal. They're rehearsing as we speak, and it was awesome. Sitting in the ballroom with this 22-piece orchestra. There's timpanis. There's a full string section.
Now, are they on stage, or is there like
they're
pit?
right up on.
Okay.
They are the featured thing. Really, as amazing as the cast is and everything, we're giving you a full orchestra concert experience of having them right there. You see all the instruments, you see how they're played, you hear the different sounds.
Not just shoved in a pit.
Yeah, no, they are not hidden. We got them right up there, and we built everything around them, so there's nothing inhibiting them. The conductor and musical director, Bill Fain, is incredible. Worked with Clint Holmes for years on the Strip, and has moved over into the theater world, because that's where his passion is, and just it's great to watch him work. It's been a blast to work with him on the show, and he's working with us on putting it together also. So
Two questions. First, where did you find these 22 musicians?
A lot of them are from the Henderson Symphony Orchestra.
Okay.
But we have to do my Kevin Bacon game for company, our percussionist for putting it together plays percussion for the Henderson Symphony, and he
was in a movie with Kevin Bacon.
And he was about the small town dancing. But he reached out. A lot of the people in the symphony are aware of what we're doing and the different shows around, and we've gotten emails throughout where they're like, hey man, you should do bigger shows with bigger instrumental ensembles. We'd love to play, and knowing that Bill was conducting it, it was a pretty easy sell to get this. It was 22, we probably could have gone to 40 just as easily with as many people as wanted to play. It was just, we wanted to keep this one manageable.
Okay. Well, and I ask because I was fortunate enough to come in at the last moment when you did Sweeney Todd last October, and we did have a couple of concert performances, and are some of the musicians the same?
I'm trying to think. I don't think there are. If there are, I apologize that I don't recognize you sitting behind your cello or anything. That was actually, a lot of that was in conjunction with UNLV, because we do try to, when we can work with students to give them work experience and have them paired with different conductors or things like that, so it builds for them getting out of school. We really try to do that to help them improve their skill sets and make connections and network.
Yeah, I guess I'm again, my memory is slow, because I'm remembering different things at different times, but there was almost like two different productions of Sweeney Todd going on at the same time, kind of merged. Was that how that kind of happened?
Sort of, yeah. There was a student over the summer, about a group of students from UNLV were trying to get something together, and it wasn't happening, but a couple of them knew me, and they were like, well, how, we don't want to give up. I'm like, well, you shouldn't give up. That's silly, but it got to a point where it just was not going to happen. So I was like, well, we're doing it anyway, so bring everything you've got going on and put it with ours, and we'll just make sure that yours still happens.
Yeah.
So.
Yay, collaboration.
And it was a fun experience, a unique experience. I had a great time.
What character did you play?
I was Judge Turner.
Of course you were.
And it was a lucky thing for me, because the individual who had been originally cast, I can't even remember his name.
Lance Bryant.
He ended up getting cast in a Cirque show in Europe, or Asia, China.
Wait, you have to clarify Cirque du Soleil. Cirque Michaels.
Cirque du Soleil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's
sorry.
taking over Macau also.
Yeah. And so I was asked to step in with like 2 weeks of rehearsal time, and so it was fantastic, because sometimes it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So we're going to take a little bit of a break right now, and we'll come back to speak a little bit more with Andrew Wright with Ragtag Entertainment, and we'll see you back in a few.
Yep.
You're still serious today, Glenn.
Sorry, so many buttons to
You're in
push.
charge now, so a lot of responsibility. Yeah, I had this whole idea that I was going to come in and be like mean to you. You're my nemesis now. Because you know my team got second place, right?
Your team got second?
Yeah.
So
think they should've known
no
that.
music able to come in at all.
Yeah.
That
No,
was-
oh, from the no, this is strictly recording.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
fine.
it's in there right now, but
Money into
it's
it,
not
so
reading the disc.
that
This
was
is no
a no.
disc. So.
Okay. Well,
I liked your jacket.
So,
there was part of me that
The
was sitting there,
shadow
like,
boxing?
I'll make
Do you know
a
what that
two.
came from?
I'll make a copy of the big one too.
I fused
No.
King and I.
I'm gonna double check, make
Lady
sure.
Gaga's Poker
Okay.
Face.
Make sure that we're
And
getting
have you seen
everything
King and I, the movie?
video-wise.
King and I?
Okay.
King and I.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know that part where Tub Tim does a show within the show? Uncle
Yeah.
Tom's Cabin? We told the story of King and I through the music of Poker Face.
Yeah, it's
in that
recording.
Moment.
Yay!
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Very cool.
And we used a shadow box because Tub Tim and Linta kiss in the shadows. That whole song. So that was the concept.
Just say within 24 hours of being in the ground, it's not a refrigerated truck and it's loaded at a
It was
restaurant.
funny.
Sweet
I just
tomato
remember
food
all
is
the little
fresh
like
from the farm.
dancing and stuff. That was so cute.
The little pole people. Yeah.
Today.
Your show, I'm not familiar with Anything Goes at all. So I was sitting there and I'm like,
Anything
oh, yes,
particular you want to talk about with
Are
company?
they Chinese? Are
Anything
they
more?
American? And
I mean, we've got
that-
still got
It was kind of interesting because I wasn't familiar with all the shows.
Yeah, no, that really happens in the show. They
I guess a
like,
big thing is like
they
just
crashed the
encouraging
wedding dressed up
people,
like Asian people and
like
They actually were. Like,
everybody
But they were
competes in
white.
local theaters and in these
so
venues,
they
and
just
then they
pretend
don't
to
go
be
when you
Asian
get into the venues.
and they
So
say
it's
that
like
you have to marry my daughter.
these
She's
venues are
your
opening up.
Chinese
City to
mother.
Circus City to us.
And like
Smith Center.
they're supposed
these
to like
places
while they're
are
doing
opening
kind
the
of
doors,
like
but
their hats
gotta
and be like,
like
it's
go.
me,
Yes.
Prom.
Well, I
And
got
then
my
they're
Smith
like,
Center season tickets. So.
there's like a whole lot more underlying with like business companies. But it was too much to explain. 6 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to come back in less than 30, so about 20 seconds.
What not to hit. Teach early.
Is www.thelvh.com/calendar where they can get tickets? They can get tickets lvh.com.
Yeah, or through our website as well.
Okay.
No, like her daughter. But her mom is like, her mom's like a stage mom.
Welcome back to Curtain Call without Eric Ball again this week. I'm going to razz him forever on that. If you're just tuning in,
Curtain call without Eric Ball.
What's your name?
yeah, we've got Cassie here, Eric. So the intern smiling and gloating about her victory last week with the mellow dramatists.
Kerriann's team came in second.
Yeah,
Hey, thanks for mentioning that.
You know, we-
Second place.
and Andrew couldn't bring anyone with him from company because they're all rehearsing right now or out of the state. But I'll ask you, Cassie, because you're just graduating, or you got one more year.
I just graduated.
So, what was last week like for you? Because the Mellow Camp is a taxing experience.
It is intense.
It is
Yeah.
very intense. It was a lot of fun though. I mean, I definitely felt like my team, we were the underdogs because we're the only team of 3 with all high school graduates.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into it, we were just like, oh my goodness, there's no way we're going to be able to beat all these people who've had so much experience. But to be honest, we just had like such a great group of kids. Such a great group. And they all just like, anytime we wanted to take a break, they were just like, no, let's keep working. So it really didn't matter to me whether or not we won. Just the experience was so rewarding and we had fun. And winning was just the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Totally. You could tell your kids were having a blast too. All the kids.
Yeah, I mean, I spent all of about 3 hours there this year, and yeah, an incredible experience. And I wonder, do you get to see some of that, Andrew? Segue. See what I did there? Because when you're directly involved with something, like Kerriann and Cassie were with the Melodramatist Camp, and I was for a little bit doing some, workout
Workshop.
workshop.
Gym shorts.
Yeah, wow.
Sweat up a storm with Glenn.
Well, you know, we were talking about Flashdance with Kevin Bacon, and I don't remember how. I think I'm like my Kevin Bacon number's like 3. Yeah, but I can't remember what it. You'd think I'd remember something stupid. But Andrew, do you get to see some of that direct results? You know, working. You know, either doing shows that benefit charities, and specifically like Golden Rainbow and this summer concert event where it's going to help children, or being in the schools. I mean, because you're producing stuff. I know you're directing some things, but do you actually get to see some of the benefits that come out of all this?
Yeah, it's on a couple of different levels. Like there's different aspects of benefits where I think our two biggest successes across the board, and they're not. I don't necessarily view theatrical successes based on numbers of things. It's the reactions you get. And,
Sure.
We've now done the Peanuts trifecta over the year in the 3 years where we've done Your Good Man, Peanuts.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. The look on my face. The look on my face had nothing to do with the possible FCC violation. But I only know of 2. So.
There's Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and then Dogs Who's Got.
Oh, okay, Snoopy. Yeah. Okay.
We did.
When did you do Snoopy?
Last year. We did in our first year. We did Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, and had an absolute blast with that. And that was at one of our free community events where it was at a school and it was just free for families.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year we did Snoopy as a benefit for Olive Crest, which is a great fostering program.
Okay.
And that's one of our most successful shows in that this was clear that these kids and these families, they're not going to go to Disneyland, they're not going to go to Sesame Place or Legoland. Like this is the some of them we bought tickets so that the families could even go.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And our Snoopy costume is gorgeous. Our Snoopy costume was done by his name's Scott Klisch. He's the head costumer at O, and he used to be the head costumer at Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh wow.
So he adapted the actual Snoopy costume that they used there into a more stage friendly, but it is like way better than what they've had on like the Broadway ones. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's good. If Disney did Charlie Brown, this is what Snoopy would look like.
Wow.
So, and we had this adorable little girl named Rosie Rhodes, who's a great little dancer. She was a Woodstock, and their 2 costumes were really great. And seeing all the families getting to get their pictures taken with Snoopy and Charlie Brown and everybody at the doghouse afterwards, and going up and giving Snoopy hugs, and the parents just beyond the kids and the magic, the look on parents' faces when they get to see their children that happy is like that far exceeds selling 3,000 tickets to a show. So that was extremely successful in seeing that. And then when we did a show for a children's group a couple months back in May, we brought a little bit of everything. We had singing, we had dancing, we had different things. This is the one that Kelly went and sang.
Yeah.
And it came full circle to me. This was my moment of finally having something come full circle. Afterwards, a grandmother came up and asked me on how she could get her grandson into dance because he was so moved by we had a hip hop group, and he has never been interested in anything, saw that and blew up. Wanted to go learn, and that is how I did not like theater, didn't like anything. I was delinquent and played sports, and I went on a trip so that I didn't have to go to school. And the moment I saw the show, I knew that was what I was going to do with the rest of my life.
What was the show? Cats?
Starlight Express. No, it was it was Phantom of the Opera. I saw it up in Toronto with Colm Wilkinson, and it was that dude took the audience on a journey like I've never he could have made people fart. It was anything he wanted them to do, they did. It was amazing, and I was just like, I've never seen someone so carefully take someone on this roller coaster where you're laughing, you're crying, you're in suspense, and it's
and
just
apparently farting as well.
Yes.
I've never heard theater explained so well. I hope to have a glamorous review someday. Glenn Heath made me fart. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Andrew Wright with Ragtag Entertainment. Has a fantastic benefit for the Golden Rainbow, or just Golden Rainbow, not the Golden Rainbow. Tomorrow, Monday, July 9th, Tuesday, July 10th, 7 p.m. at the Las Vegas Hotel Showroom. All proceeds are benefiting Golden Rainbow. $25 tickets. You can get them through www.ragtagentertainment.com or shorter URL www.thelvhlvh.com, and you can go to their calendar and pick up tickets that way. And again, this is a great opportunity for parents to bring their kids and get that bug.
Get it. There's singing, there's dancing, there's musicianship. I mean, you have some of the finest musicians in the city and some of the absolute best theater and showroom performers. So I don't want to say they're the best theater people, because there are. With this concert, we have a really neat thing where we've taken some opera singers, some pop opera singers, some lounge singers, some showroom headliners, and then people who are in Nonsense, Menopause. One of the King Arthurs from Tournament of Kings is our Eiler. Is our Bobby, and so you're having some of the across the board as performers. They're all working performers who are just, each one of them is a showstopper and incredible. And so you're, for $25, I mean, you're getting a $75 show.
Yeah, and I've had the opportunity to work with almost half of the year cast there, and I've certainly seen more of them perform. So fantastic opportunity. And possibly you'll have the opportunity to fart too. I don't know. I'm going to be stuck on that.
Only Glenn and Eve were to make them fart.
I have a question, because and this is just kind of going back. What is the premise of Snoopy? I mean,
Honestly, it's for kids though, because I know Dog
Sees God is not. And it's like,
traumatized
it's
by
like,
that
okay,
show.
well, wait a second. Dog Sees God. Snoopy's dead in that one.
Yeah.
You know,
The premise of Snoopy.
It's not when he gets cancer, or
It's
whatever, or lupus, or whatever it is that.
Follow the journey.
He gets rabies. To clear that one up.
Oh, okay.
No. It's
Everyone's childhood has just been completely destroyed.
Yeah, if you saw the one that I saw, your child would be destroyed.
Dog Sees God is a coming of age tale. It's not, happy, hey, look, Schroeder.
It's real life.
As opposed to the lemonade stand, or kicking a football, or flying a kite, or
Snoopy is a lot of vignettes like Your Good Man Charlie Brown, where it's just
but it is the full Peanuts.
And this one introduced Peppermint Patty into it, where she's not in. She was originally in Your Good Man Charlie Brown, then they rewrote it and put in Sally Brown, and she's not in it. It is Linus, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Woodstock, Peppermint Patty, Lucy, and Sally are the cast.
So they killed Schroeder?
At this point, his father had been arrested and been taken away to the special school that he goes to for a while.
The special school probably being Juilliard, not the special school. Silence.
I don't know.
I might be emotionally disturbed that he had to leave for a while.
Well, and again, had you ever heard of it, Kerriann?
No.
No?
It's not
as well known.
Or scored. It's not bad, but it's not as good. I mean,
obviously
a different. Charlie Brown is awesome.
Obviously, a different writer for the book and libretto.
Yeah,
okay.
But it's a lot of just little cartoons. It's out of the comic strip, so you'll remember. If you grew up reading Peanuts, you'll be like, "Oh, I remember that." So you remember a lot of the different situations and scenes. But it is Snoopy sort of goes off on his own in this one for a little bit and comes back. But it's kind of that, like, he gets dared and takes the collar off and goes and does it.
Interesting.
Nothing as depressing as Snoopy Come Home. Does anybody remember that? Have you seen Snoopy Come Home?
No.
Is that the cartoon?
Yeah, if you think Dog Sees God traumatized you, Snoopy Come Home is the most heart-wrenching thing ever. Did you see it?
But it's the animated. It's the
cartoon.
cartoon.
It's an animated movie from like 25 years ago, where Snoopy's former owner is this little girl dying of cancer, and like he leaves Charlie Brown to go visit her. Like, they pull no punches. Everything is just like, I'm dying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like, you sit and cry the whole time. I sit with Ava and cry and watch it once a week. But it's
wow.
She loves it, so I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's preparing her for Disney movies, because every single one is heart-wrenching.
That's true.
You know that? Yeah, Disney movies.
No.
Finding Nemo.
Parent dies.
Terrible.
Always.
Not all of them. Sometimes there aren't even parents to begin with.
That's the point.
What happened to movies like Goonies, where No parents, no one dies.
You don't have to
Just have a good
die.
time.
No.
And in fact, they say never say die in Goonies.
Goonies never say die. That's true.
They said in James Bond movies too. Which point?
People do die in James
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's kind of taking off on a tangent there. But Disney movies.
You start talking about farts and the conversation just
Well.
goes everywhere. Sorry about that, Claire.
No, that's all right. I didn't have my music segues. I put them on a disc, but the CD player doesn't read. So I had some nice little music segues for other things too. But you've got another event coming up a little bit later this month, and it's another little Sondheim.
That's later this week.
Like, oh, good lord, is it? That's
Yeah,
actually next
we
week,
didn't
isn't it?
plan these two to ever be this close together. They both just sort of like happened, and there were two situations we couldn't say no to.
Sure.
But, yeah, putting it together is going to be at the Smith Center to close out Sondheim's visit there, where he himself is performing on
Right.
Saturday night.
Ooh.
And then on Sunday we have two performances of Putting It Together, which is sort of a review of his best works.
What are now? I've got some of the names of individuals that Brandon Albright, Ludemise, Ann Barr,
Rochelle.
Const, and Jay Joseph. So some of the same people from company.
From the original, we did Putting It Together in January, and
Okay.
it was actually a lead into Assassins. And you guys didn't get to go because you were in rehearsals.
That's why. Okay.
Yes, and it was a terrific production that went over very, very well out at Green Valley Ranch, and so it was a good fit to say, hey, move that over here into the Smith Center. And it's Lou and Rochelle. Rochelle is in menopause, but this is another one where we started really marrying those two different styles of Vegas performers. So you have an 8-piece cabaret ensemble band of musicians who are another great group of musicians, and then you have like Lou and Rochelle really are the showroom style performers.
And Lou's a little bit of a lounge singer.
Yeah, he does Shades of Sinatra sometimes with Sandra, but crooner from back east, old school Italian guy.
Yeah,
they're fantastic, and Jay Joseph is. He plays sort of this narrator character, and it's perfect for Jay because he's got he does a lot of emceeing of beauty pageants and things like that, and like all the charm and fun that he brings to that, he can bring into this character that walks you through Sondheim's themes.
Is there a little bit of a story, a through line with this?
It's themes. It's like
Sondheim on Sondheim.
Different. It's like temptation, and then they'll sing a song about temptation, and then revenge. It's this couple getting back at each other and things like that.
Okay.
Just to walk through the different themes of his works, and then for a lot of people, I'm sure remember Brandon because he did a lot here. He's been gone for a bit because he's been working. But Brandon Albright comes from a theater background here, does some mainstream music too, but awesome singer. I love hearing him sing his music. It's in a higher key than it's usually written for this review because they wrote it for. You have an older couple and a younger couple, and the older couple hits a lot of like the baritone and bassy things and the alto-y things, and then you have this song and dance belter girl and a high tenor, and so it sits beautifully in Brandon's voice. Okay. And is
he singing "Being Alive" then from Company, or
he's he does sing "Marry Me a Little" from Company, but
one
Being
of
Alive
my favorite songs. So.
Is the arrangement in Putting It Together. Being Alive is gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful arrangements I've ever heard. It's actually one of the things we did at Ribbon of Life, where it's this 5-part canon.
Oh wow!
So that the music just sweeps over each other with all these different vocal lines coming in and out. It's absolutely beautiful version.
So most of the group there is going to be singing in that song.
Yeah. Oh, they all are. All 5.
Well, yeah. There is only 5 there.
That's
fantastic.
Beautiful. And Anne is. Get out and see her because she's going to be. She's tremendous. She was. I know her from back in New York and performing back in New York. And she has. There's a one-woman Andrew Lloyd Webber show that called Song and Dance that she won an award for, and did a thing out here when the Liberace Museum was still open. She did a Gershwin show with Travis Clower, who's one of the Frankie Valleys.
Okay.
And it was awesome. She was. When we did Jekyll when we first started, she came out and helped out and did Lucy. And it's just this awesome song and dance performer that with pipes for days. Yeah. So,
and now, is she worked with you at all with your ventures in New York? Because I know that you've branched out from Las Vegas, and Ragtag's done a few things in L.A. And
when we were first starting, she did. She's been out on ships pretty steadily since Jekyll, where she's been like the contract just sort of roll over, and she was supposed to be moving here in January, but she got an emergency contract from someone who got hurt and just got off the boat.
Interesting.
So.
That's something I was interested in doing at some point.
What?
Cruise ship work?
Cruise ship?
Going on a boat, yeah.
Oh, my best friend in the whole wide world is on a boat right now up in Alaska. Justin Rodriguez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's been doing that for about 2 years now and really loves it. He's gotten to see the whole world and perform at the same time. Oh, good segue. Performing, passions, etc.
Yeah.
I am so curious, Andy, because you mentioned you saw the Family Opera guy and were inspired and wanted to do this with your life. Now, at Mello, Maggie Wheeler, who played the Janice on Friends, oh my God, character.
Yes, Chandler's.
Chandler Bing. She came and talked to the whole group of us, and then we got to do a Q&A, and my question for her was, how do you balance your passions? Because for me, I mean, I started off doing choir in theater. I went to LVA and was totally in choir. Then I transferred to Cimarron High School. That's when I started doing theater.
Odd.
Right? Yeah. And I've been doing theater ever since. But now even, I've done ensemble, I've done some leads, I've done some production stuff, I've done some tech, I've run spotlights. And there's something for everyone in theater. But how do you balance all that drives you? How do you balance the creativity? How do you get the production stuff in there? I would really like to talk about this.
Cloning.
No, I asked Maggie Wheeler, and she said to allow your passions to flow. And, kind of like that, 5-piece music, voices coming over each other. But right now, I am not doing a show.
Elaborate on that answer, because I'm pretty sure everyone didn't just go, oh, yes, allow it to flow. Yes. Flow. Yes. It makes so much sense.
She touched on it with the whole group, and then when she came around to the individual groups and was doing photos, she kind of pulled my arm and was like, okay, so about your question with the passions, because she not only is doing acting, and character bits here, she does voiceover work, and she does...
And she's apparently done a lot of voiceover.
Yes, a lot, and she conducts a choir of African music. She's got her hands in everything, and she's a mom. So that's why I was really extra curious, because I have that goal for myself and want to be able to give everything
to conduct
Yes, African music.
Okay.
So I'm just going to let that flow into my life.
All right.
Gonna let it flow.
No, I want to be a mom, but I understand that that becomes your priority. And if I have all these other passions, how do I balance everything? Can I do it all? How do I do it all?
From speaking from my experience, and I'm sure Andrew has a little bit of his own, because
he
has a daughter.
One.
I didn't do a whole lot while my daughter was growing up. It was more of, we got to make, payments on things.
Yeah.
And so most of my passion was focused just on doing improvisation, and I did that for a number of years. But
how did you make that? How did you balance it?
I didn't, because I got divorced a couple of years ago, so I apparently didn't do very well with it. No, you know what? I think that's where Andrew wins. Not that we're competing, but your spouse is very much in tune with what you're doing. Whereas I didn't.
Support network.
I had the support, but it wasn't quite. We weren't right there on the same, and so I don't.
Well, that is something that Maggie Wheeler mentioned was it takes a village, and having that support set up
and your partner has to be right there with you, and it's not, hey, I'm going to go down this path while you go on this other path, or don't go on any path at all, because that's where you grow apart, and that's what happened with not to have a therapy session, but Andrew, you have. Your set of circumstances is completely different.
Yeah. Well, she comes with, she's a cellist, and so she is as passionate about the arts as I am in terms of their importance in our daughter's life. But there's a couple aspects of one is to make sure, because there's a lot of times when I feel horrible for these past couple of weeks. We've got a lot of people who have not done things that they are necessarily supposed to. So. You pick up when any production in an ensemble and a lead, whatever, you take on other things to help out. And I'm someone who will not just say, oh, well, this didn't happen so well. I will make sure it happens. If it means me not sleeping for the night, I will make sure I do someone else's job if it's not going to get done. Mm-hmm. And those are the times that it does unfortunately affect my family, which isn't fair, but I also make sure that they understand that I know it's not fair and that it is not taken for granted and that it is appreciated.
So then you follow it up with, the next week, putting more focus and time into the family stuff and
Yeah, we
balance it that way.
try to as much as possible, and this year's had a lot of things of like people just who are in positions and just crazy circumstance of Sean doing Assassins. Like, how often does a director have to go into the emergency room in the hospital for borderline kidney failure, where you had it was a medical emergency, where I had just finished directing a show.
That happened a couple of times.
Yeah, like where I had just finished directing, putting it together, and with Sean going down, like someone's got to go in and help out and be there. So
and Sean Critchfield is doing great now. By the way.
Yeah, he came in and did the workshop at Mellon too.
That's right.
Yeah, so I just had to say to them, I know this is supposed to be family time, but they need a dad too over here. They need to have someone there, and she's very understanding. But it's also once we have a couple weeks in.
She meaning your partner?
Me, yeah. We have a few weeks in New York after putting it together, but then after Hair, it's sort of you guys got to run this ship on your own. I've directed 8 shows in 2012, and only 3 of them, like 2 of them were supposed to be mine. Yeah, only 2 were supposed to be mine, where it was just situations coming up, or for one reason or another, the director leaving a project, and they're like, I'm not just going to cancel it because there's a lot of people involved that were looking forward to the project, so we're not just going to be like, sorry guys, you don't get to do a show. So she has been extraordinarily patient, but you do have to do that and say, okay, this is, if you listen to my outgoing message, it now says if you've called after 5, you may get a call the next business day, so that, once company is done, I can detach and say, I'm sorry, after this hour is family time.
That's very professional. My outgoing message says, I probably am not going to get this call because my phone is in my teapot, and so if you send me a text, I can get back to you, but you should probably send me a smoke signal or an owl. I would get
Awesome.
sooner. Yeah.
Or an owl.
It really works. I've been getting so many owls lately.
I couldn't even tell you what my outgoing message is. No one calls me. It's great.
No, thank you, Eddie. That really did.
No,
Charlie Brown music for you today.
And I was having this conversation last night. Went to go see Festival of Horror House in Texas last night.
How was it?
It was good.
Cool.
I have some issues with the show that, when you have to make a show shorter, you lose a lot. And that show, it was fun to watch. And, I always like to see character arcs, where you see a character at the beginning and you see the story arc and the character, there's a clear difference. There's not enough time. And so there's some jumps in the story, and obviously some characters not even in existence. But I had fun.
Were you familiar with the show before, without extras?
The familiarity I have with the show is primarily from the movie.
Okay.
But since having Ron Smith and Kelly Wright on from a couple of weeks ago, I've kind of followed in a little bit more with it. And different story. I'll talk to you later about that. But I had a good night. A double date. It was a lot of fun. But you want. I'm a theater person. I want the whole experience. I want that 2.5 hour. I don't go to the Vegas shows. I'm not in for all the spectacle. I'm in to be brought into a story. And there are some,